Hello and welcome. Francis here. Thank you for coming back to my channel. If this is your first time here, I bid thee welcome. There is a subscribe button and a bell below if you would like to help support this channel. And also, while you're hitting the bell, you'll be notified as to when I upload more content. I'm coming to you from Ghana country. As such, I acknowledge the Ghana people of the Adelaide Plains as being the traditional custodians of this land. In doing so, I acknowledge their elders past, present, and emerging. So this video, I'm wanting to talk just a little bit more about the South Nodes, or the nodes in general. I do realize that I have talked quite a bit about the South Nodes this year and their connection to karma, and in particular our past lifetimes. So I thought I might just do a video as to maybe explaining why this is important, or well, certainly I believe this is important. Just bearing in mind that I'm not an astrologer. I do have a very active or healthy interest in astrology, but I've actually not done any formal training. And a lot of what I share is actually, I suppose, in a way, from my own reference and my own study, as I am sort of gaining more knowledge in this area. But I do past life regressions, and as such, I do believe that understanding even a little bit more about our past incarnations can actually help us navigate through this current incarnation of life. And more so if we are conscious about becoming a spiritual being, or dare I say, being a spiritual awakened person, it's also vitally important. Now, by the way, spiritual awakening, being more in line with our true essence, our authentic self, our higher self, etc., doesn't necessarily mean that life is cruisy or a breeze from that point onwards. And there tends to be a great deal of misunderstanding circulating amongst various spiritual communities about spiritual awakening and what this truly means. And the result of this is it's led to a lot of what I've considered spiritual bypassing. If anything, and I am talking from spiritual experience, spiritual awakening can cause the opposite to occur. This is because you often then realize that, I suppose, what has meant so much to you up until that specific point, family, friends, career, status symbols, achievements, etc., may not actually have been in alignment with your true soul direction. And this can flow on to the fact that they may have actually been distractions as you focus from this point onwards on more of your soul pathway. But I guess this is really a topic for a separate video, so why don't we get back to what I'm wanting to do this video on, and that's in relation to the nodes and our past lives. So every soul that is incarnated comes to this planet with a specific soul blueprint, I guess you can call that. It's a nice term. And this blueprint sets out a specific set of lessons and requirements to obtain knowledge or wisdom, or even experiences that could well be beyond the understanding of the conscious mind. This blueprint of our soul could be seen through various modalities and techniques, Western or Vedic, which is Indian astrology, Eastern or esoteric numerology, etc., are actually set up to capture what happens at the moment of birth, or when our soul takes on a name, which is the case of numerology. And these are all techniques to help us find this blueprint of our soul, and doing so we can bring it into our conscious awareness. As I mentioned from the beginning, I'm not an astrologer, But within astrology, there are these 2 points that are found on the moon's ecliptical path when it crosses that of the sun. And these 2 points are known as the north and the south lunar nodes, or just the nodes in short. And these points are important because, after all, the sun and the moon, being the closest luminaries to us, represent our identity. And according to some astrologers, these 2 nodes work in the background of our lives, very much like a compass. So if we get lost or deviate from our soul's blueprint, our physical, which is the lunar, or our spiritual, which is our solar path, we can then use the nodes to recalibrate and bring us back on track in order to navigate more easier this experience that we refer to as life. The nodes also can be seen as invisible family ties because they tend to show up in the assistant trees of the astrological charts of families. This is when you're sort of comparing family charts, like brothers, sisters, siblings, parents, grandparents, cousins, and comparing everybody's charts, the similarities in them. So it is not all that surprising when you consider the fact that we are reflections of our generic imprints of not only our parents, but also all our ancestral line, whether we like it or not. And the South Node in particular provides us with information with respect to what energy we have embodied or am in the process of embodying and integrating from previous lifetimes, the challenges that we have already overcome, which impact or shape our soul coming into this lifetime. So the South Node may also indicate themes of history in our current lives, the repeating patterns, as well as our karma. And when the South Node is placed within our chart, this also indicates areas where we are most comfortable in this lifetime, largely based around the lessons that we have mastered previously. And it's through utilizing these areas, I suppose, of comfort that we can then move forward or focus on moving forward, which is the North Node. So the North Node is about our future direction. The South Node is all about our karma or our past lives. The North Node provides information about what energy we need to embody in this lifetime in order to overcome the challenges of past lifetimes. It challenges us to get out of our comfort zones, which in turn will reward us with becoming more engaged with our life's mission, our sense of purpose. However, we should be reminded that often these pathways are not well lit. They do not come natural to us because we're out of our comfort zone. And in fact, spiritual work includes a deal of, there's a term here in Australia, we call bush bashing. So we need to get off the well-worn, well-beaten track and find our own way. And it's the lessons from our South Node that can help correct us in our past lives when we allow these to be integrated during this current incarnation. And as such, they become in alignment with the trajectory of our North Node. So when we consider the placement of our South Node, we can see where we may even be hiding out from life, or areas where we may be naturally inclined to keep our life small or smaller than it's meant to be during this lifetime. So to calculate the North and South Nodes on your natal or birth chart, you need to know at least your date of birth, preferably your time and location, because that will give a little bit more specific placements. However, if you do not know the time or the location, since the nodal placements change every 18 months, other people who are born around the same date, like classmates, family members, etc., like cousins, more than likely will have the nodes in a similar range to you. So you may, especially if they've got their chart done, have a look at where their north and south nodes are placed. And then, of course, there are other websites on the internet, like astro.com, etc., that can help you prepare a natal chart, even an approximate one, so you can at least find some hints and guidelines. And also those websites and also astrologers, there are ones who specialize if you do not have any details about your date, or if you're wanting to sort of narrow it down to finding out more about when and where you were born. So most charts, and what I will do, I'm actually going to pull up my own chart that I've had done. So this is an example through, say, astral.com. This is like a very simple chart of when I was born. So as you can see, that the north node is this image here. So it looks like a set of headphones. And because there's a 12 or 6-month placement between the two, this usually shows the north node. So my north node is in Taurus, and that's in my 4th house, because I know my date and time of birth, my place of birth. My south node then will be opposite it. So it will be, it will actually be 7 degrees, 29 minutes, almost 7 degrees, 29 minutes in Scorpio. So it's directly opposite. And in Scorpio, it'll be up here. So what this means is that in a past lifetime, I have acquired the positive attributes of Scorpio, which would be being loyal, smart, shrewd, intuitive, passionate, standing up for my beliefs and not a craving for the approval of others. And in this lifetime, I need to experience some of the more negative attributes of Scorpio, or work through them, being manipulative, being more possessive, being domineering. And there's also that Scorpio sting as well. And there's this pattern that is believed to continue through the lifetimes until we learn these aspects on a more soul level in order to break these patterns. What is important to remember, however, is that the energy of the North Node helps us integrate these lessons of the South Node. So my North Node's in Taurus. Taurus relates to strength, resilience, and also the ability to be stable, abundant, and create a comfortable life. So I'm needing to combine all of these aspects. As I mentioned, we need to keep in mind that we, on a soul level, have chosen to incarnate at this current time in order to learn these lessons. And no one said that being human was meant to be easy. One of the lessons as to why we incarnate, I'll just stop the share there. So one of the reasons why we incarnate is to experience these experiences, the good, bad, and the downright painful. Our soul needs to experience these experiences, and it cannot do so unless it incarnates in a physical body. And to be perfectly honest, some of these experiences, feelings, emotions can be downright soul-wrenching. Yet it is our soul blueprint that has included them. Does this justify another person's bad behavior? No, it doesn't. Nor bad behavior on our part. but it may give us a little internal peace, even a little bit of comfort, especially when we feel that our lives are being rocked and turned upside down. So, and remembering that we have chosen this course of action, even on a deeper soul level that we may not be aware of, also means that we need to take responsibility for our own choices. And we can do that through spiritual practices that may give us a little bit of insight into things such as meditation, prayer, self-reflection. And that also helps us get out of our conscious mindset, our ego-driven mind, and more into our heart. But in doing that, as I mentioned right at the beginning, our nodes sort of help guide us through these difficult times, giving us, as I said, the compass points, showing us the directions if we feel that we're lost in the forest of life, we were wandered off our path. So that's why they are important, and it is our self node that helps provide us with the lessons that we've learned previously, reminding us that we do not have to go through them again. And through the experiences of our path, we can gain that knowledge base to help direct us forward and onward. So I hope that has been a little bit of insight in relation to the South Node in particular, but the nodes in general and the importance that they do play within astrology and our life, finding our life purpose, which a lot of us are seeking these days. So hope you're well, and I'll see you again. Blessings.